Welcome back, guys. Welcome to another episode of Young and Chatty, Nev and Kaylah. Today's episode is going to be about peer pressure. Now, I'm going to do this again. How was your day today, Kaylah?
Oh my god.
Just answer the question.
Okay, it was a calm day.
I felt that for you. What'd you do? Nothing?
I woke up and then I went in the bathroom and I looked at it and I was like, damn, this needs to be clean. So I did that real fast. And then the baby's here, so I spent a little bit of time with her until she took a nap. And then the rest of the time I spent waiting for you.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
You see those little things right there? That's you. And you see this? That's me. So can you make it like mine?
No, because I'm right here. See, look it, it's working.
Okay, you can put a little oomph in your voice, okay?
Okay, what do you want me to do? Scream?
No.
It's not my fault. My voice is quiet. You just a loud bitch.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, my day was okay. Today was payday. That was nice, but not really, but yeah, it was. Thank you, Jesus, for the paycheck, but I hate America. I really do. Why do you have to take out so much taxes out of my check? They said employee tax, medical. I don't even have medical through them, so why are you taking it out?
Oh, I thought you was going to say you don't have medical insurance.
Oh, no, I do. I do have medical
Girl,
insurance.
get you some medical insurance.
No, I for sure do. Did you know that once we turn 22 or 23, we have to start paying for medical insurance for IHP?
For real?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not prepared for that. They said it's $50 to $70. But today, I went to the dentist, I went to the bank, washed my car, took a shower, made me breakfast, watched some TV. So I did a lot for my day off. I always do that. Every time I have a day off, I always have something to do. I never can just sit down.
You can't. I'm starting to think you have ADHD.
I think... Oh.
Yeah.
My leg was moving. Okay, peer pressure. So how about we start with our definitions of peer pressure. So what is peer pressure to you?
To me, it's basically just doing something you don't want to do, but you feel obligated to do it.
Okay. I feel like for my definition, it's the same way. Like sometimes I think it means like force from other people. Like they force you. Like someone could say something and then the way you receive it, it's like, are you forcing me to do this? It just depends on what certain people say or how a person says certain things to me.
Okay.
So, have you been in any situation where you have been peer pressured?
Yes.
I want to give at least like 2 or 3 stories from each of us.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be like a short episode. Start small and we'll get big.
Okay. I feel like we kind of sort of talked about this before, but it was when in high school I felt pressured to continue to talk to you know who when I didn't want to. And I couldn't stop because purple made me feel like what I was doing was horrible.
Why? Wait, what were you even doing?
Nothing. That's the problem. The problem was, this is when Blue had disappeared for 2 months, then came back and I felt like everything was okay. And then I got tired of it and I was like, bruh, honestly, I don't want to keep talking to you anyway.
I feel like my opinion on this is kind of biased because I didn't like her. So when you didn't talk to her, I was like, okay.
Because it's funny because you were the only one who kept saying, like, don't talk to her. But, like, with Purple being her cousin, it was always, well, why are you're acting weird? Stop acting like this. She really likes you and everything. And
but then didn't Purple know about the BS?
Yes, and that's the problem. That's the problem.
So, what specific moment, like when, where, why, how, did Purple make you feel pressured when it comes to Blue?
In the beginning, I wouldn't consider it peer pressuring because I did like her. But I feel like once let's say when Blue's birthday came around. Blue's birthday came around and she told me that she wasn't doing anything, but she had a birthday party and invited like her ex and all the girls that she was talking to or whatever. That was the moment in my head that I was like, yeah, we're done. But that was the moment where I personally was like, I'm not going to talk to her anymore because I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And then that is also the moment where Purple just kept calling me weird for not wanting to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. Because at the time, she was her best friend. And I was like, I don't want my best friend to think I'm weird. So I did it. And it ended horribly anyway, but still did it.
Do you think, like, this may be a little bit off topic, or we can actually incorporate it with the episode? Do you think what you did was people pleasing?
Yes. 100%.
I have a problem with people.
100%.
I have a problem with people pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I notice it, and I know I do, but like I try to stop, but it's hard. Because I don't want people to think that,
yeah,
you know, I'm weird or anything. But that's another thing. I feel like I should stop thinking about what other people think, because at the end of the day, their opinion doesn't matter.
See, okay, with me, it's not necessarily about me or what they think about me. It's more of like that person. I don't want to hurt that person's feelings. And then,
Well, how would you hurt Purple's feelings about not talking to her family member?
I'm not necessarily talking about Purple. I don't give a damn about what she thinks.
Damn.
I'm talking about Blue. Just because I know, like, what she was doing behind my back, I knew what she was doing, but like when she was in front of me and it was just us, it was different. You get me?
I get you.
It was different. So then in my head I was like, okay, if I do this, then she's gonna do this and act like this. But
damn, I see.
And what's funny about that is I actually told her that I didn't want to talk to her anymore, and then when I said that, that's when she started the whole stalking process.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was like, fuck, I can't escape even if I want to, bro.
I said, oh.
What about you? What was like peer pressure moment?
Okay, like I said, I'm gonna start small. This one's like really, really small, not a long story. But when I was little, growing up with, you know, my family, of course, I mostly lived with my grandparents. One major thing for my grandma when she had us live here, she said that we had to go to church. And I was okay with it because even when I was living with my mom, my brother, and his dad, my grandma would sometimes pick me up and my brother up and we'll go to church with her. And then sometimes my mom would take us to church as well. But once we started living here, we had no choice but to go. So once I got even older, my grandma told me that, well, mostly told my mom that I need to get within like the church community, meaning like participate with like the other kids.
Mm-hmm.
So at first it started with just being in like children's church, and then being in children's church you had to basically perform. And I didn't want to perform. I didn't want to do anything. It was like plays or dances, and I didn't want to do that. But my grandma basically pushed me, and she said you have to do it. And even though that most of the church things I felt forced to do it, I mean, once I got old enough, I think when I was like 17, that's when I was like, girl, yeah, this is done. I'm 17, about to be done with high school. I'm done. I'm grown enough to stop, you know. But a part of me is glad that I did it. It was fun. At first I didn't enjoy it because I was forced, but looking over it, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad that she pushed me to do it because it gave me a different spiritual experience. So that was my small one. We'll get into the deep stuff later.
The deep stuff later.
Now give me your medium story. Think of it as small, medium, large. That's what we're gonna do today.
A small, medium, large.
Yeah.
Bro, that sounds like we at McDonald's.
Small, medium. No. Listen. We're gonna get to the big gulp in a minute.
Cause you from McDonald's to AMP. She's at the big gulp.
Go ahead.
Actually, I have to think about this one. I don't know.
Okay, well you better think, because I can't tell two stories at one time.
Yes, you can.
I don't even know what my medium one is yet.
Neither do I.
Okay, hold on, let's pause it. Alright, so Kayla doesn't have her story right now, but I'm gonna just give you my medium one. Okay, so I'm a quiet person, okay? I'm quiet until I'm comfortable with my surroundings. I'm not a talkative person. I only get talkative when, again, I'm comfortable with my surroundings. So there has been plenty of times where in different friendships, relationships, whatever it is, over time of going to people's houses, of course, I'm not going to walk into your house and not say anything. I'm going to be like, hi, how are you doing? How was your day? And go on about my business. I'm not going to sit there and have a conversation with you yet because I'm not comfortable with you yet. Mm-hmm. But there has been times where basically I have been told, like, why don't you talk to them? Like, it could be their family members, it could be their friends or whatever. They can be like, why aren't you talking to them? They feel weird when you don't say anything when we're all together. And it's like, now I'm feeling pressured or, like, you know, pushed to say something when I don't have anything to say. There was one time I went to someone's house and we ended up leaving to go handle some business, and we came back with food, and we were gonna go eat in the room, but one of their family members were like, hey, like, I feel offended when you guys just go in the room and don't, you know, talk. And I'm like, okay, so he gave me that look, like, let's just sit down and eat out here. So I sat down and I'm eating my food, and his family member is talking, and I'm responding with nods and because I'm eating. I have food in my mouth, okay? And then it just kept going and kept going and kept going, and I was kind of getting a little frustrated because you see me eating. I'm not going to talk to you while I'm eating. Like, I'm eating. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to talk with my mouth open. And it's like, the more he will, and then when he will stop talking, he'll just look at me. And then, like, him looking at me, it's like, why? I'm trying to eat. So, like, I guess it kind of gave me a little bit of anxiety because now I feel like I have to say something. And I also had to let the person, like, get them to understand, like, it's not that I don't want to say anything, it's not that I don't like them or want to be around them, it's just in some situations I either don't have anything to say, I'm eating, or I have no say in this conversation. I'm not going to ask questions if I don't have a question. I'm not going to say anything if I have nothing to say. And that's just something that I think they're just going to have to get used to, because I'm naturally a quiet person. I know over time of me getting to know them, I have been opening up a little bit more, but there's still some times where I'm just quiet, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a little bit quiet. I have no problem at all.
I feel like coming from a loud family, you're going to want quiet, and you're going to want to be quiet.
Girl, my grandpa be talking like Canada can't hear him. And I'm like, Papa, she's right there. Granny's right there. She can hear you. I've been waking up to this man screaming, and he's just talking to her, and they right in the kitchen.
It's literally
I love my old people, but jeez.
Once the sun comes up, like with my family, loudness. Like, if you're asleep, wake up, because you're not going to be asleep for much longer. And then it's like from the moment the sun is up to like 2 o'clock in the morning, that's all you hear, just loudness and talking. That's all.
I mean, like, I don't have a problem with you talking. It's just, can you, like, not scream? You don't have no reason to scream. If we're right here, this is the conversation that we need to have.
Yeah, but, like, with my family, they, like, it's like they talking over the fence to the neighbors or something.
That's just crazy.
I don't understand it.
It's mostly my grandpa. He just has that loud voice, and that's okay. Because my mom, she can get quiet sometimes. But, like, I think I'm just like my mom. And my grandma, actually. My grandma, my mom, no. I'm like my mom in certain ways. I'm like my grandma in certain ways. For my grandma, me and her, we like to observe our area before we even speak. Mm-hmm. We'll smile, but we observe first before we talk to you. Mm-hmm. With my mom, she has her quiet moments, but then she has her loud moments. I'm the same way. You get me?
I understand.
All right, do you have your story?
It's kind of the same thing as yours. Like you, I'm a quiet person. Even when I'm comfortable, I'm just quiet. Mm-hmm. If I have nothing to say, I'm not going to say it. And that's just that. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I'm not loud.
There's nothing to say.
I'm a quiet person. Oh, if you don't like it, then that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah.
Because, okay.
But the thing is, okay, just because certain people come from different backgrounds doesn't mean everybody's the same background, you know? Like, if their family is loud and, you know, not like aggressive, but like speaking in an aggressive tone, that doesn't mean their friends are going to be loud and aggressive. Yeah. That doesn't mean I'm going to be loud and aggressive. Some people are different. I feel like a lot of people have a problem with that. Why do you have a problem with it?
Okay, people mistake my quietness for being shy. And it's like, I'm not shy.
I just have nothing to say.
It's just, first of all, I don't know you. That's one. Second of all, I'm not going to be in your face trying to get to know you if I don't want to.
Exactly. Because you know what he told me?
I don't care.
He told me he looked at him and he was like, "Is she always like this?" And I was like, "I'm eating. I don't like to talk when I'm eating."
Because it's disrespectful.
He said that too. He was like, "I understand. It's disrespectful to talk with your mouth." And I'm like, "Then why are you trying to force me to say something when I'm eating?" You know, like. No disrespect, because I love them. They're amazing. It's just he's a little different than I am. Him and his family, they're all different than me and my family, and that's okay.
I feel like another reason why we're probably like this, well, for me, is because growing up, I've always been told speak when spoken to. That so right like, if I'm not spoken to, I'm not going to talk to you.
That right there. And I've said that. I was like, I don't speak unless I'm spoken to. Like, I'm not just going to jump in the conversation. It's just look at me and ask me a question or ask me for my opinion. But I'm not going to be like, guys, here's my opinion. Like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Like, if I first meet you, obviously, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to be respectful.
Of course.
But anything other than that, no. I'd rather just be quiet because I don't like talking anyway.
Exactly.
But with the story is kind of related to yours with Midget. When she comes from a very close family. They're super, super close.
Of course.
And so the first time I went over to meet her family, like her aunts and cousins and everything, they were some happy people. And while I don't mind you being happy, don't be too happy around me, because I'm gonna get uncomfortable, because now you're touching me too much.
I don't know you. I don't know you.
You're touching me too much and you're asking me too many questions, and I just got here. Relax. Like, her aunt, when I met her, she was super, super nice, but she kept asking me like really deep questions, and I was like, girl, I just got here. Like, I don't know you. Why are you asking me these things? And then after all that, again, they were nice people. Super nice people. But when I got back to Midget's house, she was like, why were you quiet the whole time? And I was like,
I don't know these people.
I don't know them.
Just because you're the person I'm with doesn't mean I have to be automatically open.
I was like, well, one, I don't know them. Two, yeah, they're making an effort to talk to me, but when it's too many personal questions on the first meeting, I'm not going to say anything, because they don't need to know that.
Exactly.
And three, I was just minding my business. Like, all your cousins and everybody was talking to you directly, not me. So let's keep it that way. And then I feel like another problem was I was never around her family that much anyway. It was always my family. So even with my family, I'm quiet. Just because you talk a lot doesn't mean I talk a lot.
Exactly.
So that was kind of the thing. But I know when we started going over there more, she really told me I had to say something, and I was like, I don't want to, but okay.
I mean, I do the same thing. Like, with Ling Ling, he tells me, like, you know, just try, because he knows that it's hard for me. He knows, but I try my best, and I think he sees it.
I think it's just, again, it's not shyness. It's just,
it's like, if I'm not comfortable, I'm not going to force myself.
I'm not comfortable. And even though I explained that multiple times, it was always, well, it's my family.
Okay, what's that mean?
Okay, great. Congratulations.
What's that mean?
I don't want to be in their face, and I don't want them in my face. So,
that's just,
something's going to have to change, because I'm not talking.
Alright, are you ready for the big gulp? Are you ready for the big gulp?
Yeah.
Alright. I think my story's gonna be a little long.
Go ahead.
So, let me tell you about D-Man. This year is when shit just went wrong. This year, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with that man. I really don't. I really fucking don't. There has been times where I have explained to D-Man that it's really hard to communicate because of their reaction. Okay, so in most situations, if D-Man says anything, then I just don't react, because how am I supposed to react? Because in previous occasions, when I did react, you got all different about it, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So I thought it was best for me to just shut up. So D-Man came to me and told me that I was basically peer pressuring him. And I accepted that, and I was like, you know what? I'm sorry if you felt that way. I won't do it anymore, okay? 3 weeks later, we're having a conversation, and what does he do? Peer pressure me. I had something to say, and I told him, I said, you know what? I don't even want to talk anymore. Have a good night. Just go on about your business, and I'll go about mine. And it was, no, say it. Say it. No, say it. What do you have to say? Say it. And it just kept going back and forth, and me saying no and him saying no, say it. And I'm like, okay, so you see what you're doing, right? Because what you're being right now is a hypocrite. Because how are you going to come to me and tell me that I'm peer pressuring you, but you're going to go back and do the same thing that you told me that you didn't want me to do? Mm-hmm. Doesn't make any sense. And that's one thing I hate that people do, because I've dealt with that a lot. There have been times, like with my family, they would be like, no, say it. Like, what do you have to say? And I'm like, nothing. I have nothing to say. And it just makes me shut down even more, because it's like, you're pressuring me to say something after I just said I don't want to say anything. Mm-hmm. And that's just one thing I hate. One thing I hate. If I say that I'm done, if I say no, that means no after the first time. Because I have been told that I have done that before. Like, no, say it. What do you think? And if they say no, I have nothing to say, then okay. Now I accepted that. Now I've learned that. So when someone says no for the first time, I'll leave it as that. But I expect it back from you. Simple as that.
Simple as that.
But yeah, it just causes a lot of stress, a lot of frustration, a lot of annoyance. Is that a word? Yeah. I just can't. I can't. That's something that would probably be like a pet peeve of mine, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, if I look at you, but like, you have something to say, you tell me no, and I'd be like, yeah, you do. And you kept saying no, and I'd be like, yeah, you do.
I would just slap the shit out of
Exactly. That's what I felt like in the moment. I wanted to beat the living out of that man, because I'm like, bruh, I said no. Bye. Jeez.
I don't really have a big story. I feel like just now, everything just focuses around my family. I mean, love them, but they don't understand the concept of, if someone wants to be left alone, leave them alone. And if someone says, like, if I were to say I don't want to do this, they will purposely find a way for me to do it. Same with not blaming the baby. She's a child. But it's more so the grandparent and the parent. If I say, for example, if me and you have plans to hang out, I will let them know beforehand, like, hey, I'm hanging out with Nev. Let me just, don't ask me to do nothing, because I can't. And then, like, when the time comes, that's why sometimes I text you, like, okay, you have to wait, because I have to watch the baby for a little bit. They left. And they will, I noticed they do that on purpose. Because, for one, my grandma, she will not watch anybody kids. Like, you really have to be out the house far, far away in order for her to watch your kid. So I feel like that's just a really big problem with my family. They will peer pressure you to anything, and it doesn't matter if you say no. If you say no, it's an argument.
It's either you being disrespectful or ungrateful.
Being disrespectful.
Yeah.
Or, like, again, I'm naturally quiet. If I'm quiet and don't want to talk to nobody, then I have an attitude. And then it's always, well, why don't you talk to your other family members? Why don't they talk to me? I'm not reaching out. The phone works both ways, man. I'm not reaching out, so.
The phone works both ways.
I feel like with peer pressure, it's kind of it's a weird thing, but it's so annoying.
It is.
Because if somebody says they don't want to do something, don't make them do it.
That's just simple as it is. Like, once someone says no, that means no. That kind of goes with consent too. If someone says no, that means no. Like, don't keep trying, because if they're gonna keep saying no, that means no. And then now, if you're gonna peer pressure someone to do something, now you're forcing them to do something. Now they're gonna think in their head, like, every time around you, now I'm gonna feel forced to do something. Yeah. And no one should feel like that.
And I feel like with peer pressure comes with, like, the other person. It's like, I'm a people pleaser in general, which I'm working on.
It's a journey.
But it's like, in my mind, I said no the first time, but you keep telling me to do this or do that. Now I feel obligated to do it. And if I don't do it, then I upsetted you in some kind of way. And now you're mad at me.
It's like a 50-50 because, like you said, if someone pressures you to do something and, like, now you feel obligated to do it, now you're upset because now you feel forced. And then let's say if you ended up not wanting to do it at all, and like you make that clear, now they're upset. And it's like, you shouldn't be upset in the first place because if I'm saying, like, I am my own person, no one is in control of me but me. That is it. If I do not want to do something, if I do not want to say anything, and if I tell you that, that means I'm not doing it or I'm not saying it, and that should be the end of the conversation. You shouldn't try to persuade me to do anything. And I guess, like, that would be like a little bit of advice. Don't let no one persuade you to do anything that you don't want to do. Don't let no one force you to do what you want to do, because no one can control you, only you. That's it, and that's all.
Yeah, even if you're a people pleaser, just, you gotta put you first.
I mean, okay, there's like good people pleasing and there's bad people pleasing. Good people pleasing for me is like gifting. I love gifting. I love giving gifts.
Yeah. But that's like a love language. You love gifting the people you love. Yeah. But for me, it's always not because I want to, but because I feel forced to. And then, like, with that, it's always now, just because I did it, now I'm upset, and I do sometimes catch an attitude, but now they're mad at me because I'm upset.
And have an attitude.
They forced me to do.
The moral of the story is, if you feel peer pressured, try your best to communicate that you are not the one to be peer pressured. And if you cannot deal with peer pressure, just make it clear, because no one deserves to be pressured. Not at all. If you don't want to do something or say something, don't do it and don't say it, because at the end of the day, you control you. No one controls you but you. Anything you have to say?
No.
Alright, guys, well, that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed our little conversation. Just make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. Stay young.
Stay chatty.